What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Street Fighter Duel video. All right, guys. As I announced in my community post today, I was taking some time off with the family. So this is not going to be a guide or anything related to the game, except for it's actually longevity. I had a lot of questions today because I brought out a Honkai Star Rail video. A lot of people are pre-registered for it. Clearly, it's going to be one of the biggest games for mobile and console for a very long time. But not only that, there are going to be a lot of big titles coming out in 2023, and so the question to me was simply posed: Payne, what do you think is going to happen to Street Fighter Duel in 2023, and will it last past this point? So I'm going to give you the long version of what I think is going to happen and why, and I think a lot of you can agree to this, and some of you may disagree, obviously, and that's fine. I mean, let's be real. There's been a lot of hate towards the game about the way it's been handled, about the way the IP has been used, and unfortunately Crunchyroll is getting the blunt of the damage, which really isn't, and I made this clear, isn't their fault. I'm not paid by Crunchyroll. I don't have any representation with Crunchyroll. I have no stake in Crunchyroll. They really don't. Only thing I have with them is the ability to watch anime, right, on their site. What I think a lot of people misunderstand is the fact that a publisher in the West versus a publisher in the East are completely different. Like, publishers have a lot more control in the West if the Western IP exists here, while Capcom and Street Fighter are owned by the East, right? And realistically, the devs make all the decision. Now, with that being said, but I conclude this by saying that the old game I used to play and cover, which is Naruto X Boruto Ninja Tribes, was a game that was vaulted by Crunchyroll Games way before it shut down. And I'm talking about like months before it shut down, which if Crunchyroll really had that much power over it, you guys would have seen that game shut down a lot quicker. So let me just show you guys real quick, okay? Crunchyroll Games. Let's show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so while I'm on the topic here, since let's go to this for a second. Let's show you what I'm talking about. So if you look here, okay, Crunchyroll Games, if I click on this, this is the site. Okay, this is a site that has Crunchyroll Games and their statuses. Okay, you guys have never seen this? It's crunchyroll.com/game/index. And you can see here, Street Fighter Duel is their latest game, and it's doing the best right now for them, right? Learn more. So, Eminence of Shadow, Bloodline, The Last Royal Vampire. Learn more. My Hero Academia. Now, if you go further, and they might have actually closed these already. Let's go into this. Actually, let's go back. Oh, they have shut them down. Okay, so they've removed them. So what happened before was Princess Connect, vaulted game. Ninja Tribes, vaulted game. There was like Dan Machi's vaulted game. So there are a lot of games out there that Crunchyroll represented, but were vaulted way before they were closed down. And that's what I want you guys to understand. It's like the actual... Let's see if there's... Yeah, there's nothing here. So they actually did remove it. That's crazy that they actually removed it. So they actually started removing the vaulted games. But they, like, literally last month I was showing people, taking screenshots and showing them vaulted games. So Crunchyroll, even though they publish a game, they don't make decisions. It's literally... They'll stop even publishing it and the game will continue living on for years sometimes. So keep that in mind. Anyways, that's not the point of all this. The whole purpose of me telling you all this is because I feel like everyone blames Crunchyroll and they have a bad rep. As a matter of fact, they own some of the better IPs, so it's the developers that make the bad decisions. Now, with that being said, it doesn't matter who owns it. The game is still a complete mess right now, right? We'll talk about the Akuma event on a whole different level and a whole different video, because I feel like there's a good and a bad to it, and I think fairly needs to be dissected and represented in a way that isn't unfair to the event just because people are angry and some people are super happy with it. So don't get me wrong. Hence why I want to talk about it in a different video. But will the game survive with massive hits like Honkai Star Rail coming out, Blue Protocol coming out, Street Fighter 6 coming out, Final Fantasy 16 coming out? Some of these are console games, clearly. And what do we have? We have Wuthering Waves coming out. So there's a lot of big games. And just naming a few of those titles coming out in 2023. The game in Street Fighter, from a graphic perspective, is archaic. But it sucks us in because it's nostalgic. And I think nostalgia is one thing Street Fighter brings, even with the graphics being so dated. And with that being said, its IP carries it, right? But for how long? My suggestion, my strong opinion on this, guys, I give this game max 2 years. before we see a massive decline in productivity, content, etc. You'll start noticing most of these things happen when a game starts only bringing up banners. When content isn't new or fresh, or there isn't an event accompanying a character, or they start revamping characters and releasing different versions of them, or even further, they start repeating banners, then you're going to notice that something's wrong. Because at that point, either the dev team has given up and moved on to something else, or the game is now on a decline financially and are looking to just pretty much make the last few dollars and move on. 2 years I'm giving this, only because I've seen the track record of most of these games. Now, with that being said, is the game going to die in 2023? Absolutely not. And there's multiple reasons why, right? One reason being the fact that it's Street Fighter and because it's an RPG, idle RPG specifically. Like, those two reasons alone will keep it alive long enough for people's interest, because even if old players are leaving, new players will come on. And the marketing team that has done a spectacular job on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you name it, ads. They know how to market the game, and people instantly see marquee characters, they'll jump on. Okay, 3. They've got investors now. People who have put in a lot of money and time, usually whales, who can't get a refund, which a lot of them have not, will stick around till the dying end because they want to have their money's worth. Now, there's a double-edged sword there, right? A lot of whales cannot stop spending. So they will continue to spend and compete for this coveted prize of number 1 in Street Fighter Duel, when at the end of the day, no one comes to your door with money. No one at the end of the day comes to your door with any form of congratulations. But unfortunately, whales will be whales, and they will continue spending, even on a game they know will go eventually nowhere for them. And that's another big reason why it's going to stay alive. On top of that, there's always a plethora of new whales to be sucked in. Whether it's collab units, because obviously Capcom is a massive IP. And if they're smart, they're going to start looking for units outside of that IP, such as King of Fighters, for example, who they've had affiliations with in the past, right? There's Mega Man, there's Resident Evil, there's like, you name it, like the IP has massive pull. So with that being said, no matter how stingy a collab may seem financially, if there's a pixel unit that will bring someone's childhood back to the forefront, or will remind them why they love the character, they will pay for that. And we're talking about thousands of dollars. So, for those who are worried about Street Fighter going anywhere in 2023, I don't think you have anything to worry about. You're probably looking at a game who will still make a lot of money until 2024. I say end of 2024. Then you're going to see a possible decline. Now, this is an opinion, of course. I just know trends on gachas who are similar to this, who have done the same thing with smaller IPs. Naruto being, I say, probably more popular than Street Fighter, to be honest, and has died after 2 years. The gameplay itself isn't anything groundbreaking. It's very, very straightforward. It's very plain idle RPG with a little manual twist. Now, here's the problem with the gameplay. In order to get anywhere as a free-to-play player, you require the same 3 units as everybody else. Realistically, that's just the case. Bizang, Bison, Guile, or Viper, and then for bosses, you want Cammy, Chun-Li, etc. Right? Like, it's the same rigmarole, same 2 steps every single time. So they need to bring more characters out that will give that same kind of impact to free-to-play and whales. Because a lot of people misunderstand here. Whales fund the game, but free-to-play is the lifeblood of it. And what I mean by that is a whale pays to smash a free-to-play. If it's all bots and free-to-play are gone because it's not fair to them, the whales don't stick around. They move on to something better. Right? So keep that in mind. So again, long answer, yes, the game will survive 2023. Will I continue covering it? Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you why. It's not because of my invested interest that I'm worried about, because again, I've made pretty decent money on this already, and I can tax most of it off. It's not even an issue. I genuinely like the game. I like the community, and I like some of the events and characters that come out. And I love team building games like this. Like, it's literally a passion of mine. Hence why I make so many guides. But am I naive enough to say that this game is going to be long term? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not crazy, right? And I hope you're not either. Because at the end of the day, I haven't spent for 3 weeks, right? But others are spending to keep it alive. So I thank you for doing that on our behalf. But I think if you're smart you kind of know where to draw the line now in terms of how you want to approach this game. So if you're new, about to jump on a Street Fighter, I hope you hear this message. The game is going to last long enough for you to enjoy it. Whether you want to financially invest is up to you. But at the same time, I highly recommend you participate in the events, in the game, and get as far as you can without spending a dime, and see if it's for you first, and kind of see where the paywalls are. All right, guys, this is Payne. Without ranting any further, I just want to answer that question because some people have been asking me today with Honkai Star Rail coming out. Yes, I will be covering Street Fighter. Yes, it's going to last past 2023, probably up to 2024, maybe a little further. But I wouldn't consider this a long-time gacha that is going to be sitting in your app store for too long if you wait for its life to end. Unless you plan to quit, then that's a whole different story. But I'm sticking around either way. I'll be covering this game plus Honkai and other games as well too, because I just love the game. Anyways, it's Payne. See you guys in the next video. Take care.